William Wrigley Jr. was selling powdered soap with a stack of gum. People like the gum more than the soap, got rid of the soap, and he was able to buy the Wrigley building with just cash alone. Adrian Smith calls his style of architecture heritage style. However, it's Art Deco as well, so many would actually call it Eco Deco. Now, the NBC Tower was designed by Adrian Smith. Adrian Smith is, of course, the man behind the tallest building in the world.
Lost power in the locks, so that's what we're all waiting on.
But why are there no listings to be a lighthouse keeper here in Chicago? Well, I can tell you. The last lighthouse keeper to have a job was a bachelor in his 20s in the 1970s. Is it that the parties were so loud at this lighthouse that people from all over Chicago could hear the partying? It was crazy. Something had to be done. The job at that lighthouse is a battery. And the only people who can visit that lighthouse here in Chicago is the Coast Guard. So now there are no lighthouse keepers in Chicago. And that is a
song that Jackson Brown wrote. The Eagles recorded it. It was their first big hit. So, standing on the corner in Winslow, Arizona, here they are, the Eagles.
We're coming back. I heard a lot of hooting and hollering on the front of the boat. How are you enjoying the splash zone? I'm sure they're cheering. All right, continuing here on our left, welcome to Museum Campus. We're going to look at this building here that looks like a UFO wearing a beanie cap. That is the Adler Planetarium. That was one of the oldest planetariums in the Western Hemisphere. And that's where we go to learn about the stars, the universe, and the cosmic ballet that is the galaxy. All there at the Adler Planetarium. It also has a very killer light show of Dark Side of the Moon that's going on until December. If you want to check that out, it's always a good time. Continuing here, look at this building here, this structure. It looks like a UFO invading the Coliseum. That is Soldiers Field. That is where, of course, Taylor Swift and Beyonce play. And I believe a team called the Bears play there as well, but I'm not too sure. Soldiers Field also lost its historical value because of that additional UFO structure on top of it. Continuing here, look at this building. It's actually the museum that's closest to the lake. That's the Shed Aquarium, of course. That's where we go to learn about all aquatic life, from tadpole to penguin. Actually, back in the day, they had a railroad that went from Florida. They would collect salt water and saltwater life, and it would come all the way back to Chicago. And its neighbors, of course, with the Field Museum. Field Museum is a great museum that has the first, or the most, put together T-Rex, Sue the T-Rex. If you want to check that out, she's our pride and joy here at the Field in Chicago. They have mummies as well, if you want to see that, in ancient Egypt. It's very fascinating. Handsome. Sears Tower is not only 110 stories, it's 1,451 feet. And it's our pride and joy here in Chicago. It's the tallest building in Chicago, and it was once the tallest building in the world for 24 years, but still the tallest in my house. Been to Millennium Park. That's where the Bean is, of course, the Bean. The Bean was under construction for quite some time, but it has since returned. Now, if you're visiting the Bean, you're going to see it, of course. It's a giant silver bean. However, the artists would beg to differ. If you are in front of the artists, don't call it the Bean, call it Cloud Gate, as that's what it's supposed to be. It's not supposed to be a bean, it's supposed to be a silver drop of rainwater. Very fascinating to one man, and Harry Weiss was a sailor before he was an architect. And look here, this triangle usage actually helps the people who live in the Swiss Hotel, who are staying at the Swiss Hotel. They get a nice river view on both sides. Behind the Swiss Hotel is another Genie Gang original. This is the Aqua building. It's supposed to look like limestone. Some it might actually look like petals of a flower, but those are supposed to be invisible balconies. And of Chicago history. And I consider you all a part of Chicago's history, so give yourself a round of applause. And let's give a round of applause for our Captain Dave, our deckhand Martin, and our most important member, Caesar, our bartender. They made this whole trip possible. All I do is just talk. But you've all been fantastic. I hope you enjoy your Labor Day week.